Hi folks, I hope mko freshi barida. Welcome. This is the KK Tube. The first K and K stands for my name, Kinyanjui wa Kibara, and Tube, which represents YouTube, where we post most of our videos, especially live ones like this one. KK also stands for Kali Kali stuff, so stay tuned to the end to enjoy our show. In the meantime, please take time to subscribe and click on the notification below this channel. That's Kinyanjui wa Kibara too, both of which are down here. Anyway, today I have yet another guest. This is not an ordinary guest. He's a special person who's a friend of mine. He's also a very well-known personality in and around Nakuru and Kenya in general. He's been in politics. He's an engineer, but I'll let him do the introduction from here. Karibu sana, Engineer Victor Ngatia, to the KK Tube.
Thank you very much, Kinyanjui. Asante sana. Na pia I'm happy for you to host me here.
Asante sana for honoring my invite. You were recently appointed to a certain position by Governor Lee Kinyanjui. That was, he's been your ally for a long time, and you've been vying for Nakuru West MP seat. Tell us a little bit about your new position and your relationship with Governor Lee.
Well, Governor Lee is my friend, and he has been for the longest time. Of course, I met him years back, just before he invited me for Nakuru. And of course, we came all the way, and for the longest time, he's been my role model. Now that he's a governor, of course, there's a lot to be expecting from him. Being a happy man, having supported Governor Lee in 2017, I am more than pleased to actually declare today that hajatuangusha. For a fact, we had a reason as to why we thought Team Fresh was the team to support Governor Lee instead of the previous governor we had. And so far, so good. I think we've seen the development that we've seen in this country. We've seen what is happening to the city. Yes, of course, we need to acknowledge that now we are a city, not just another Nakuru town. The development we've seen in the various sub-counties, quite a lot. I mean, I'm a happy man, I can say. Over and above that, yes, I've run for MP before. Up to now, yes, I've never become the MP for Nakuru Town West, but I'm sure time is coming when that will come to pass.
Umepigia sana Governor Lee debe.
Ni candidate wangu. I mean, yeye ndio Azimio.
Oh, okay. By the way, tulisikia ya kuwa amekuwa appoint to a certain position. Was it him who appointed you, and what is the position and what role do you play?
What I can tell you, the appointment is from the Secretariat, Azimio Secretariat, but for sure.
Which Secretariat? Nakuru?
Azimio Secretariat.
National.
Under the leadership of Governor Ruto'S. But over and above that, Governor Lee as well has a very big say in that particular, secretariat position. So I wouldn't be there as well without his word, because he knows his team, he knows his people in Nakuru, and he knows the kind of people who will do well in making sure that this particular job is done well.
And, congratulations on the appointment. It's been a long way coming, getting something from Governor Lee. So I think you didn't answer this part of the question where what role do you play in your new position?
Well, as a coordinator in Nakuru County for Azimio, there's a lot of, as the word says, coordinator. There's a lot of linkage between Nairobi office and Nakuru County. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of handling and bringing together the various parties that are under Azimio. Because, again, politics is local. We could be speaking Azimio in Nairobi, but when it comes to Nakuru, people don't see eye to eye. So part of my biggest job is to bring these people together so they can actually speak and look at the bigger picture of garnering as much votes as possible. Over and above that as well, we need to see and work out a mechanism of coming up with a single candidate for Azimio in the various elective positions that we have. We also have the aspect of raising funds for the campaign, and most of all, looking for votes for Baba.
So maybe to make it easier for ordinary people like us, me and you to understand, how is the power structure in your new position? Who do you report to and who reports to you, for example?
The coordinator is not necessarily a center of or a point of reporting to. The coordinator's position is basically coordinating all the aspects of the Azimio coalition. And as I've stated clearly, it is harmonization, it is looking for votes. If it's any rallies to be done, there is an issue of security. All that coordination must be centered somewhere. But over and above that, this work is supposed to be done well on behalf of Baba. So that if Baba is coming to Nakuru, then of course there's an office that is ensuring everything is catered for. And it's not one arm. I mean, it's the coordination office coordinating with various other offices to ensure an objective is achieved. And in this case, we're working very well with all the other political parties. We're working as well with the governor's office. We're working as well with the media here and there. We're working as well with the various hotels or what do you call them, boardrooms or conference or facilities that we may have around. All that in under one office, but not necessarily another person reporting to me or my juniors or something like that. No, this is basically coordination, and all political parties are supreme. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Given that you are working in the same party with the governor, who happens to be the governor, as in he's the governor, he's also in our party, Jubilee.
Yes.
He's also a candidate. And now here you are, you come from maybe the Jubilee Secretariat. Are you his boss or are you working under him?
I don't know why you're insisting on that point, but I think I'm very clear in stating I am not anybody's boss. My work is coordination. My work is getting information from the right people or the right positions and relaying it to the right position and ensuring there is a seamless, what do you call it? The coordination is seamless, such that if there is a flow of anything that's supposed to come through, it's done seamlessly to avoid a conflict or failure of attaining or achieving an objective. In this case, if you want to get the votes for Baba, it's not about me being a senior to anybody. It is just ensuring that if it's materials arrive on time. If it is to do the media, we have proper media coverage. That all this is to attain the main objective of getting enough votes for Baba and for every other candidate who's under Azimio.
I think I'm there now because I was a bit confusing Jubilee with Azimio. I think now you've clarified that under Azimio, that's the structure as is. Now, the purpose of elections, and we're only 2 months away to August 9, is to win elections.
Yeah.
Now, there's been that expectation that Jubilee has candidates. Other parties of Azimio are also fielding candidates, often in the same position. Like for governor, there could be one or two.
There's only one.
There's only one.
Yes.
Okay, me aware there's a lady who's running on an ODM ticket. But anyway, in the other seats, senator, MPs, MCs, there are more than one Azimio candidate.
Yes.
And that is a danger because it might split the votes and maybe the enemy can pass through the rival parties, mostly UDA, which is having a very strong presence around here. How is Azimio, and maybe what role are you playing to ensure that there's a consolidation of candidates and votes so that they don't get scattered?
First of all, let's agree. This is politics. And we are all present to the fact that many of us vying for the same seat and Azimio will lose us the vote. So we are very much aware of that. And there's what is being done, which is not, I wouldn't use this platform to declare exactly what is happening. But at the end of the day, there's what is being done to ensure that we end up with one candidate in each and every elective post that we are going for as Azimio. The same thing we're doing for senator, for women rep, for MPs, and for the MCAs. So that we know. We are very much aware that if we went all of us, then we will divide our vote and we will actually put our opponent ahead of us, which won't happen. But maybe the other question you are alluding to is what is the formula? And as I said, this formula is not easy for me to tell you outrightly, this is what we are going to do. And and it gets to a position that we have our principals dealing with the issue, because from the word go, they stated the same, and they have repeatedly said so, even when they've come for the rallies here. And I would not want to take it more to say anything more than that, because I know they have committed and they have promised they will deal with it. So I would ask for patience from our candidates. May they know that for sure Baba is dealing with this issue together with all the other political party principals. The other thing I've just heard you mention, that UD has more presence here. I mean, I need to be very categorical here. Let us not use rumors that are within town just to, to show up the numbers for another political party, which is not true. I think just recently we did a simple rally for Baba in Nakuru Town West, and you saw the numbers. I mean, that tells you exactly what to expect in Nakuru County.
There are also high numbers when Ruto comes.
I mean, we can understand how it is. So there are also high numbers. We know how much they travel, they transport people. We know that. It's not that we don't know. We know they move people to bring people for the masses.
You're accused of transporting.
Well, you can accuse, but I don't think you saw anything. You were present. You were local. Did you see any buses coming around to bring people? Even after the rally was over, nothing like that happened. All these are people who are coming naturally without a lot of inducement. Apart from the fact that we send the trucks out there and we communicated that Baba is coming. And the numbers are humongous. They are huge. So Nakuru, I can tell you, Azimio is ahead.
So, of late there have been opinion polls floating around.
Yes.
Do you have any around Nakuru that maybe Jubilee is using or Azimio is using to gauge what's happening?
I mean, you can look at what they do not talk of Nakuru per se. They're talking of Rift Valley. And when you talk of Rift Valley, you're not just talking about Nakuru County. You're talking of many other counties that are basically not Nakuru County. But if you were to single out Nakuru County, you would actually confirm that Azimio is ahead. I'm sure in the near future, there is what we are trying to do ourselves to establish the true position on the ground, and we will see. The polls will tell. Over and above that, we have intelligence that is actually advising on what is happening on particular areas, and it's available. People can access it. Once you see it, for sure, you will see what I'm talking about.
So let's go back to Governor Lee Kinyanjui.
Yes.
He formed his party, Ubuntu,
Yes.
and then in the run-up to the nominations, he went into Jubilee and was given like a straight pass. Now that after he has become officially the Jubilee candidate, no, the Azimio candidate, he's been seen like to be supporting Ubuntu candidates as opposed to Jubilee candidates. Is this the position, and if it is, what is your take on that?
First of all, when you talk about he was given a clean pass,
it was a straight pass.
No, it was not. I mean, it's at times these are narratives that are ran so that you can actually decampaign somebody. I mean, everybody did this. All parties did this. There was what we call negotiated, what do you call it? Nominations.
Democracy.
Yeah. So the negotiation was based on a particular formula, and in this case was polls that were conducted, and this had to be communicated to all the candidates so that all would accept. And many are those who did not accept, and there are many others who accepted. So there was a formula that was used to come up with a candidate. So it was not a clean pass. It was just that he was ahead. Secondly, your question was
about favoring Ubuntu candidates.
No, I mean, it is not correct. Because first of all, remember, even when Governor Lee said that he's vying on that ticket, he did not say so and said he's not in Azimio. He declared from the word go, he was the first governor to declare that he's supporting Baba. So whether Ubuntu, whether KANU or Jubilee, he has not changed his goal on the fact that he's Azimio. So that should not escape your mind. So he's still in Azimio. When it came for him to move from Ubuntu to Jubilee, that is still under the umbrella and the agreement of what Jubilee Party wants. Okay? So
but that will
Jubilee Party...
a conflict of interest, because let's take the women rep seat, for example. There's Agnes Jampi, who's the Jubilee candidate, and then there's Mama Soko, who's the Ubuntu candidate.
Yes.
There have been complaints even in Naivasha when Baba and Mama, Masa and Raila were in Naivasha recently. There were complaints that Lee is favoring Mama Soko.
But how? You cannot say that. Governor Lee was in the same car with Jambi. So when people are quickly accusing Governor Lee, it doesn't make sense. So if you are there, you get the mic, you're next to the mic, you're called to speak. They both spoke. So why is a favor?
But the logic thing will be for Lee to tell the Ubuntu candidate to step down.
Why should that be logic? I mean, why should that be the logic? Because that's what you think.
Because Jubilee is the one that's the major party in Nakuru.
Why?
And Ubuntu is coming to play spoiler.
I agree. That is the politics that is being used so that you can ratify Azimio, which is not the case. The principals have advised all candidates to go and campaign. There will be a formula, and the formula will be, the polls will tell who is the most favorable candidate to take the ticket. So now that people are using it to campaign the governor, it doesn't make it correct. It's not correct. I mean, why should the governor be the first one to say so? Well, the ODM has not said so. Why is it that Kenya has not said so? So Baba, being the principal candidate, the presidential candidate, advised everybody, including the governor, that anybody who has a ticket from whichever party, go and campaign. Time will come that we shall run a poll and we shall tell who is the most favorable candidate to win. That is when we shall discuss on who is being favored. There's nothing like favor here.
Okay, relax a bit. Don't get interested. Now, talking about Ubuntu.
Yes.
Victor, you had formed your own party. It's called Musa. Movement United
for Super Action.
For Super Action.
Yes.
At the same time, when Governor Lee was forming Ubuntu, they almost came at the same time.
Yes.
So, first of all, maybe the viewers would like to know what happened to Musa.
First of all, to be very honest about Musa, we did the best we could then to have a party registered. But just before we finished the process, the parties that were supposed to take part in the 2022 elections were gazetted by IEBC. And IEBC only picked those who had a certificate as at that point. So we missed out. Okay?
You were time bad.
We were time bad. So even if the letter came out, it was going to be an effort in futility for now. So that we can save for the next time. But for now, that is out of the way. Now we have Ubuntu, we have Jubilee, we have ODM, we have Wiper, all these parties under Azimio that are pushing for the same agenda that Musa had. So if the idea behind Musa was to solidify the bargain for Nakuru County, as in how many members of will we have in cabinet, how many ambassadors will we have, what are we having as a cake for Nakuru? That is the bargain we're looking at. What do we bring on the table as a resource? Do we have anything that we bring as Nakuru, and what number are we? Number 3, how many votes are we giving to ensure that we can sit and ask for something? Because if you look at all these other counties, many are they that get the slots, and but if you look at the number of votes they actually contribute to the basket, is not even a third of what we give. So that time is come, and since Baba is appreciating that negotiation should be there, we are in the right track. Because if you look at these other people, even Nakuru people should actually wake up. What bargain do we have in these other areas? There's no bargain. So we are still going back to the same cyclic loss that we have always suffered, and assuming that it is the best way to go. The best place is Azimio. We are being told this is what is on the table. So we know what we will be having. I can't wait to actually, when that declaration will be put at our first stadium, for people to see what Nakuru will have compared to every other campaign that we've had before.
So are you saying that Jubilee will win the election?
What do you mean Jubilee? Azimio?
In most, Azimio, yeah, most of the seats?
Definitely, yes. You wait and see the machinery that we're rolling out. And we started. Haven't you seen the waves that I think is taking over in the country? Did you see what happened the other day, I think, in Mandera? Did you see what happened in Nyeri?
Well, I've also seen what Uda'S has been doing, which is also quite impressive.
I mean, I'm just talking about the wave of people actually coming to a realization that, there was a big lie before. Now we're actually getting to know that this is a true position. I mean, it's there.
That's your best opinion.
Well, you can say it's my opinion, but to be very honest, haven't you seen? If you have seen, just say I've seen.
No, I've seen
then
a change in the opinion.
Good.
Polls,
That's
still,
positive.
There's still a lot of ground to cover.
Yep.
Like Margaret Thatcher said, 2 weeks is a long time in politics. We have more than 2 months to go. So we'll have and wait and see. People will decide at the ballot. Now let's go back to Azimio and you.
Mm-hmm.
You are best known for your candidacy or association with Nakuru West.
Yes.
You vied twice in the past unsuccessfully. Is it twice or thrice?
Twice.
Twice. How come this year you are not in the race?
You know, I told you initially that there are three things whenever you're running. Number one, there's time, there's the resource, and there's also the aspect of you being in sync or popularity on the ground. And those three things must meet at the right spot for you to be the best candidate for the day. And I analyzed my 2013 run. I compared the same with my 2017. And I realized I have all these qualities and ability that people would desire to have in a leader. But there are a number of things that were not in sync. For example, not everybody understood why I was to be the best, in as much as many acknowledged Victor alikuwa the best for us. So there is a reason why they didn't vote me in. You know? So 2017 came. The same thing repeated. And I lost. But over and above, I believe I've been maturing and understanding politics better. Because when you come, and I've seen even this time around, I saw so many people going into this thing, expecting a lot of things to happen, only for them to get shocked by the ballot. Nomination shocked everybody. So I analyzed and I realized my people are yet to understand what it is they want from a leader. So the only way to engage with these people is to ensure that they, first of all, can listen to you, not as an aspirant, but as one of them. Because before I ran, I would relate with anybody comfortably. But the moment I bring in, I'm coming for your vote, then they don't listen to what you're talking and you never agree on anything. They're waiting for the take home. Maliza haraka, tutaka home. 200 bob, 300. You see, the objective is the money. So they never get to understand why they need Victor as a leader. So until I now lower myself to that level, I'm not coming as a mheshimiwa. Even now I can manage to speak to people without necessarily asking me for anything.
So are you telling that Nakuru West voter that you never vie in West again?
Why? I will, because I'm just saying time has come. I will go back to them and I will speak to them as one of them, not necessarily as a leader or not necessarily as an aspirant. Sorry.
Okay, there's been some passion that since you formed Musa, it was keeping you busy because you were an official.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say it was part of the reason why you didn't run for West?
No. It was intentional. I actually planned not to run. And I said that from the word go. Because the moment you go to the ground and you realize they are looking for something else, not leadership, then you know you're not in the right place. Until they establish they want a leader, that's when you're in the right place. And for me, my stand has been very, very, very vivid on what I want and what they would want from me. For them to see me, they must desire the qualities and the leadership we are looking at bringing as Victor.
And still on West, where there's the current MP who is Samuel Arama of Jubilee of your party.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday there was a report in the media that he had a case in Milimani courts over some land fraud, and he was convicted. In fact, he just missed being sentenced because technically someone who was accused failed to turn up. Now, what is your take on that? Arama stands to lose his seat or the chance to run again on basis of being convicted. Would you agree with me?
The risk is there. Because if there's a case in court, that's not hogwash. It's a fact. And until the court decides, the risk stands.
Is it worrisome to the Azimio?
Well, it would be, but again, it doesn't mean that we are lost of options. Azimio still has lots of options, and that's why I think you can understand why Baba is not in a hurry to make these decisions. Because when you lock people out, then it actually means just put it off. When you lock people out, okay. When you lock people out, it actually diminishes your opportunities or chances of getting a replacement in the event there will be a need for a replacement. So until that time, we still have these candidates available. So in the unfortunate event that Arama is set aside, then of course we have options. We have to go to run. But I wouldn't want to dwell so much on the issue of the case because we have the court to decide.
Okay, maybe let's talk about strategy. I don't know whether you'll be comfortable.
Maybe not.
Telling us a little bit about what you're planning to do to ensure that you annihilate Ulda and the dominance of Nakuru politics.
Well, strategies are there. Of course, strategies are not to be discussed in such a platform. But it's what we're doing, and that's why you can tell we can still compare in popularity. There's what is still going on even now. As they do theirs, we're doing ours. And at the end of the day, it's just unmasking who Uda is and the lies that come with Uda. And for the longest time, they have hoodwinked our people into believing into this thing that people don't really. If you sit someone and ask them to explain exactly about Uda and why they're going for Uda, they wouldn't tell you.
They bottom up the police.
Well, even you, I'm sure, I would dare you. What is bottom up? You wouldn't be able to clearly tell me what it is. We saw the principles themselves could not explain. So unless you tell me you have gotten a write-up from...
No, there's a way I've understood it, of course. It's about lifting the man from the bottom.
It's a lie.
Going up.
Or lifting how?
Of course, for providing the resources for them to keep up.
But really...
And Ruto has been saying this...
What? Bottom up is just a word, like any other thing. Personally, we don't believe in that. Because listen, you're coming with a bottom-up approach to doing things. But let me ask you, you don't need any other theory about how to bring up an economy. If the basics don't work, it won't work. It doesn't matter what do you call it? What scheme you plan. If the basics don't work, it's rubbish. So now, why I'm actually trying to advocate to tell you that the best position is Azimio, is because Azimio is bringing you to the basics. We must have a health system that works. If it doesn't work, there's no way you uplift the people. They will still be in hospitals. We have to look at agriculture. It is basic. It must work. So if it doesn't work, you come with bottom up, it's just stories. But if the system itself is not functional, it's not delivering, then you will never achieve any economic.
I wish I was in Uda. I would have taken you on that. Huh?
No, nobody can, apart from Ruto himself. Everybody don't understand bottom up.
Yeah, the propaganda.
No, it's not propaganda.
But anyway,
it's not propaganda. Even the MPs themselves could not explain to people on TV what bottom up meant. So it's not propaganda. They went on air when they were asked about bottom up. They said sitting up, down, bottom. What is that? And you're the chief people telling people on the ground.
Okay, Victor.
Anyway.
You've been there for a long time in Nakuru.
Mm-hmm.
You saw our first governor, Kiruthi Ambogwa,
yes,
before he became governor,
mm-hmm.
when he was a DC and a DO around here
mm-hmm.
and across the country. You've seen Lee from the days when he was working in pipeline and mm-hmm. came up and started vying and got elected MP for Nakuru. Mm-hmm. Then Nakuru seat, it's called Nakuru East. You've seen him rise to become an assistant minister, and now he's the governor.
Yes,
who's struggling to come back. And
he's not struggling. Be careful with your wording. If your show is like that,
he might come.
Don't say struggling, because those are narratives that I know Uda guys use. And when you talk like that, you're trying to push a narrative as I talk. He's not struggling. Listen, Lee has delivered, has he indeed?
Yeah,
are you telling me outside this studio, if you go, you cannot see what Lee has done for you?
He's behind the opinion polls.
No, he's not behind.
The latest.
No, he's
not behind.
Mizani is, we know who owns Mizani. Don't give us Mizani.
I don't know.
I mean, let's talk of some proper polls. But are you telling me when you walk outside this studio, you don't see what Lee has done as a governor?
I see World Bank projects.
No, you can't see what Lee has done?
Maybe PGH.
So you can see something.
Yeah, and almost every county has a very improved health system.
No, you can't almost. Listen, that is what Governor Lee is doing. Appreciate that. And that's one thing I need people of Nakuru to consolidate in their mind.
No, that's a national government initiative.
No, you can't say that.
It's succeeding in almost every county.
No. It's not true.
You can't single it out.
No, I will single it out because Governor Lee has purposed to ensure that every sub-county has a hospital. A proper, and you look at the qualities. Are you saying the same qualities as what you're experiencing in other constituencies or other counties? Look at the kind of quality of structure that we're having for hospital in Nakuru. We must appreciate what it is. Call a spade a spade. And this is what is making us not appreciate good leadership. If we have a good leader and you drop them, what does it mean? The next leader will come and try to show prowess in whatever they're doing and tarnish or trash the projects that are there. Imagine making that white elephant at PGH. We have an oncology center, state of the art. If you have gone in there, you've seen the machinery that is inside there.
Oncology is also in every.
Agreed.
In every provincial hospital. This is a national government.
You cannot say it's a national government. Listen, initially we had
in
equipment.
Eldoret, Machakos.
You're only trying to use that to not acknowledge that Governor Lee has done stuff. And that is the biggest problem that we are having with leadership in.
Okay, let's move away from health. Tell us Governor Lee's successful projects that are not World Bank funded and they are not national.
So are you telling me you have not seen that in almost in every center now he's done almost 20 kilometers or 40 kilometers of road tarmac?
How many kilometers in total?
Have you not seen?
As a tarmac? Are we talking
tarmac, yes.
How many?
I'm saying go to Subukia, go to Bahati, go to where? Go to Molo. You will see that tarmac has been done. True or false?
That is true.
I mean, I wouldn't want us to engage on these projects, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to show you we must start to learn and agree that we must acknowledge when leadership has been shown, and we must appreciate and say they have done something. Let me ask you. Haven't you seen what the city status has done to our county?
Unless tell me how.
No, you don't know the advantages?
I've not seen anything directly.
No, and that's the ignorance that we have, and we avoid and we assume that nothing is happening. Just getting that charter meant that now hotels in Nakuru can be full again. Do you know there are times you can look for accommodation in Nakuru and it's all full? Why is that happening? Because now the per diem that is being paid to people coming to these hotels is equal to what is being paid in Mombasa. Before, everybody was going to Mombasa. Now Nakuru has become another boom. I mean, that is doing something to people or businessmen in Nakuru. I mean, these are things that are happening under Governor Lee's leadership. And
I
us,
get you. Tell us something that is affecting the mwananchi in the street, the border person, the person in the market.
I mean, listen. Initially, people complained about the what do you call it? The terminus being moved from the city center to the outskirts. To the actually not outskirts. It's about just going less than a kilometer away. People complained, and that's human nature. But now, ask them if they want to go back to the city center. Many of them will tell you no. Why? Because they have enough space. They have enough room to do whatever they want to do away from the people. Look at the congestion we had in town before. I mean, it's something of the past. We don't have that congestion anymore. Does it mean there's no business in town? Has everything gone now to the terminus that is just at the roundabout? No, but it takes leadership to see something before everybody else sees. You lead, others follow. Those are things I need to appreciate. If you have the idea of what is supposed to be coming up on that terminus, the shopping malls that are supposed to be put up there, and what will be, the accommodation of what will be there for all the hawkers. Look at the market that is coming just down, what do you call it? Next to this church, Kingdom Seekers. There's a structure coming up there. That's a market. You cannot tell me that state-of-the-art market is national again. Let's go to Naivasha. There's a state-of-the-art market coming up.
Fish market?
Yes, there's a fish market. Have you seen the image?
I've seen the...
No, you tell me, really.
Artist impression of it.
Are we saying we're not going to get that? We saw the artist impression of PGH. Is it looking anything close to what it was? That is exactly what we're going to get. It's leadership that people must acknowledge. These small fights are going to take us back. And for now, I'm only asking people of Nakuru, can you now embrace Governor Lee completely? Because he's actually shown that he has your interest at heart and he's doing it. And that's why he's my Azimio candidate and he has my support.
Well, there's a school of thought that says Lee should rest for the next 5 years and let someone else run for the 5 years as governor so that we can see an alternative development. And then now after these 5 years are over, who can now sit and choose who is the better one and they give him another or her another.
No, you can't choose that. You can't do that. Why reinvent the wheel? If the rubber is doing perfect, why are you bringing metallic? I mean, it's doing well. We acknowledge it's doing well. I wish I had the list of all the projects that have been done. So you see, people have forgotten of where they were before. They are now thinking this is where they were 10 years ago. This is not where they were. They're in a different space, and they have different services coming to them, all under this leadership. Why would you advise somebody to change? If it's not faulty,
Now, just fix a school of thought that exists.
It's a school thought that is basically political, not necessarily for the good of the Nakuru person.
Politics.
Yeah, as I said, it's not necessarily good for the Nakuru person. It is stories people are saying because they want to create space for themselves. But why, if it's not faulty, why are you trying to mend it or to fix it? It's not faulty.
Well, politics is about interest. So Lee has his own interest. The other group has their own interest. Let's talk about.
Let me clean that thing. When you tell me politics is about interest, you see, that is something that people have put in their heads, that politics is about interest. So we forget the main objective. No. True fact is, it's not about interest. That is what we have put so that we can see how we can merge together. So we bring the, me, I want to have this interest, blah, blah. But politics is not about interest. Politics is about bringing resource to the people, to the common man, the services to the person. That is what we want to, and that's why we are going for the best government, so that it can bring these resources to the people. This interest aspect is to ensure that now, what will I get so that I give you my support? The same thing the Mwananchi is saying. Nipe yangu ya macho. Toa ya macho. I mean, that is his interest. But if that's the way you want us to have leadership about yangu ya macho, then everybody will be going to that office ya macho. And I can understand where you're coming from when you tell me everything is about politics, when you tell me politics is about interest. So the other side is about macho.
No, it's I mean, it's obvious. If you empower, you would want to lose. So your interest, it's not in your interest to lose the election.
True, definitely. Okay, that I would take.
Anyway, as we wind up, maybe let's learn a little more that's personal about you, and maybe your future political ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, first of all, for those who don't know you, how would you define yourself?
Well, I'm this small guy.
An engineer.
Okay, I'm an engineer by profession. I like ending with that because when you start with that, you lock out so many people in the discussion. So I like starting with my humble beginnings and being an Nakuru person for the longest time that I can remember in my life. I remember days of schooling at Mamangina Primary School. I remember my engagements and friends who have remained to date. I remember my high school, of course, going all the way to Nyeri. School in a school called Nyeri Baptist. I was there for 4 years. Then I think I was a brainy or a child. So I got admitted to Nairobi University to study engineering, in particular environmental and biosystem engineering.
You don't think your papers say it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. My papers are there. Just to speak using the word thing, it's just in the top. But yes, graduated in 2005. With an engineering degree. Did not pursue engineering immediately. I went into logistics. Kibara, that's where we started. But when I got into logistics, I got extremely involved. And I grew up the ranks to senior level management. And somehow I found myself hooked into logistics. After that, I moved to Uganda. I went back to Mombasa. Then I came back to Nairobi, resigned from my job after 5 years. Then I opened my company called Sync Limited, dealing with logistics as well. But over and above that, I also run a renewable energy company, mainly dealing with solar system, and consultancy firm for flowers. So that's basically what I do. I like a lot of transportation because I find it easy to do. When you're off office, you can easily manage and run. While everybody else is doing it, me, I'm busy, doing other things. But that said, I'm also a politician. I ran for office in 2012. For member of
Before
Parliament.
we go there, can you categorically say that your company has never had any businesses or tenders with the county government of Nakuru?
Definitely, I can confirm that authoritatively.
Okay, now tell us about your politics.
I ran for office for member of Parliament Nakuru Town West in the manage to get anywhere under TNA. But I learned my lesson then, because I remember what I saw and what I experienced then. Gave me an idea of what I'll need to do in 2017 to become the MP for Nakuru Town West. But come 2017, I also ran, and over and above that, I only got to nomination level. And again, there are other things I learned with a nasty experience with the DCC that was then, without necessarily going into names. But yes, I learned my lesson. And I opted to fully go into presidential campaign and supporting the governor. And I did that until the repeat elections.
This reminds me from as early as around 2013, 2014, up to the last election, 2017, and maybe even this one. There's been this group of you that have been telling you to run for governor, and apparently you have not. So is it that you will never run for governor, or since you didn't run this time, you're maybe planning to run? What is the position on that?
From the experience that I've had since I started running for office in 2013 and 2017, is that things don't just happen. You just don't wake up one day and become the president or become the governor of this country. And you can learn that from, look at where His Excellency Raila is today. I mean, he's been there for years. The amount of experience that man
it's been a work in the making.
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, look at President Uhuru. I mean, President Uhuru didn't just wake up today in 2013 and became the president of the Republic of Kenya. I mean, he started way back.
Even Ruto.
Even Ruto started all the way as a youth, Kano youth, whatever, I don't know what I would call it, but came all the way understanding the system and knowing what is done. They've become ministers and they've had to do that under president. And the experience is it's rich. So even for me, as much as I have these ambitions of becoming the president of this country, I know I wouldn't make it without necessarily going through the channel of experience. If it's to start at the MCA level, so be it, and grow towards the real position that you're looking for. And I know with that much experience brings that good leadership that people would expect when they elect you.
Maybe you can tell us a bit about your personal stories, your family, your hobbies, stuff like that.
I mean, my best sport, first of all, is basketball. And I think it became a hobby after playing it in high school. And, I would even spend a lot of time just watching it. I also like, traveling so much. I mean, I like moving about. And because I know that is where knowledge is. Just go and see what other people do. You might think the best food is from your mom until you visit a neighbor and realize, Allah, so they do something else different from my mama that's very tasty. And that's what really I've been up to. Yes, I am married to a lovely wife called Agnes. She's the mother to my two kids. I have a daughter and a boy. Yes, and we stay in Nakuru.
Okay, just because it's trending,
Yes.
tell us what you think about Wajakoya becoming the fifth.
I think it's a joke.
Just
The idea of growing Bangi is fine, as he keeps on saying on TV. Bangi, anytime you give him a mic, he says Bangi,
money,
which is okay. I don't. That should not be the only reason I should give him my ticket for
and he's saying
presidency.
it has to be medicinal.
Which is okay. There's nothing new he's telling us.
So how is that a joke? This is
I mean,
serious
he's a
money.
joke if that is the only agenda he's taking on the table to become
No, that's
president.
the most known agenda. That's what
Really?
people have.
No, you tell me
taken
to start rearing snakes so that we can pay off a loan of trillions, of billions. Really, it doesn't add up for me. I think the idea is good because it's called hemp, or what they're calling it. Bangi. He keeps on saying bangi. That I don't disagree. I mean, at the end of the day, there's so much value into that particular product. It is illegal in Kenya, but I think we can have a controlled way of having, but that's not the reason for us to give somebody run for president. Really,
Well, a lot of
think
people are
for me-
saying that he is like fresh air into a stinking room.
Not really. I mean, you see, he's not fresh air. I mean, he just has something or a tagline that is different from everybody else. There's nothing else he has. Leadership is not just, and then again, remind me what he has been. We have talked about how we need people who've been into this and understand.
Well,
the running
he
of
has
government.
been in the struggle for the liberation of this country. He is part of the police system, and he really, according to him, he has fought the bad people from inside the system. Yeah,
And
and
then,
stuff like that.
and then now he can become a president.
Well, he believes he's qualified.
Well, I don't refuse. He's qualified to be because he has the papers and he's actually registered with IEBC. But at the end of the day, whatever narrative he's trying to run, I mean, I think they're just populist.
Okay, that was with a light touch. Now we are winding up.
I think for sure it's just populist.
Now there's the Nakuru water.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to him or her and tell them exactly what's on your mind and what they should do on the 9th of August and why.
Number one, what's in my mind? At the moment, I have Azimio in mind. Second to that, I have good leadership in mind. Third, I'm looking at integrity here. We have leaders who are outrightly out of Chapter 6 of this country. So, and I think we need to be very careful. Why I'm saying Azimio is because if you compare all the available avenues of getting a president, the most effective or efficient to speak, or the one that looks committed fully to changing the lives of Kenyans is Azimio. And I have reasons to say so. If you look at the presidential candidate, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, right? Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga has been in the forefront fighting for this country, fighting to ensure that we have democracy, fighting to ensure that we have multi-party in this country, fighting to see that this country becomes better. If you look at his first time, the first time he became the prime minister, the only prime minister in this country, you can tell he was with Kibara. And for sure, the first 5 years were very productive. I mean, that is the first time we experienced road networks expanding in this country. In as much as they have expanded more, but that was the beginning of a big change that we are seeing in this country. This is a gentleman who was in jail for so many years. And when he left jail, after being tortured by the people that I wouldn't name for another day, he still didn't run away from what he actually felt on the passion he had. He went back in and he still continued fighting. This is a guy who we've seen, he's very accommodative. If you look at all the governments that have formed, even the governments that have actually fought him and tortured him, he still found that humility to go back in and have a way for Kenya, to have a win-win for this country. This is a man who's actually even shook Uhuru's hand, even after they had their own beef after elections in 2017. He's a man who's tolerant, he's a man who loves this country and who didn't want to see this country go into war, So just for that, I think he has my vote. Secondly, out of all these candidates who've been running and who saying that they want to become president of this country, I've not had any one of them speak about corruption. It is only Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga who has stated that for a fact the Kenyan problem is corruption. He's the one who states again that he wants to fight corruption. Nobody has done that. For that reason, again, he has my vote. Over and above that, he says, you know what? I cannot fight corruption alone. I need somebody who will help me as a running mate to fight corruption. He goes and names a lady by the name Honorable Martha Karua. We all know the history of Martha Karua in this country. She's committed, she's assertive, and she's very decisive on what she wants, and she has a stand. Now, if you're still worried about your money, then you should not be worried again if you have these two candidates. These are people who are going to fight for us, who are going to ensure things happen. Even if I go further, I can even tell you about the manifesto they've given us. All that, consolidates the fact that this is the right candidate for us. Raila Amolo Odinga, the fifth. I don't know if there's anything else I was to add. That's what I really want. On the 9th of August, my wish is kindly vote for Baba. He has you at heart, and he will actually ensure that this country moves forward.
You didn't tell them to vote for Lee?
That was national. Not that I didn't tell them to vote for Lee. My Azimio candidate for governor is Governor Lee, and we know what he has done. I've spoken about it before. We were exchanging with Kinyanjui here, and for sure he has done stuff. Why would you be shaken to even fear that him coming in for another 5 years, his legacy? I mean, he has done it for 5 years. If he does for another 5 years, he'll have a complete legacy to leave behind. I mean, Governor Lee is a person for us. Do not be cheated to change your vote to elsewhere. We want continuity. We want to have these projects completed, and we want to see a city reclaiming its position in this East African region.
So are you advocating for 6 peace voting?
Definitely yes.
Oh, I'm not with you there.
It's
Anyway,
okay. It's okay. I understand why you wouldn't be with me. But if I'm giving you candidate, this is Azimio. I'm not saying you vote for only ODM. I'm not saying you only vote for Jubilee.
We
I'm
just
just saying
want to return to the Kumera.
this is Azimio. Kumera will still Umera, my friend.
No.
This is Azimio.
That's
We
what
have
has been put in
in
this country
Azimio
governments.
we have a number of parties. And when you say suit, you're only using suit to fight Azimio, because Azimio is not one suit. Azimio has ODM.
But even
Has
Uda is
Jubilee.
advocating for 6 peace and we are fighting it.
Yes, it's fine, but I'm just telling you, as much as you're fighting it, we're already doing it as Azimio. We have brought in ODM, we have brought in Jubilee, we have brought in KANU, we have brought in NAC, we have brought in UPF. We have all these parties are in here, and they have the flowers under Azimio. So if you're going to get one person from ODM, for example, then the other person from Jubilee, and the other person from Wiper, is that a suit?
Well, that's one way of looking at it. Anyway, thanks
That
so
makes
much.
sense.
You just reminded me of the danger of giving a microphone to a politician and they'll spend the rest of the day making speeches instead of answering it. It has been a pleasure anyway. Thanks for honoring my invite. And I'm sure we'll have another one. And another one, and possibly another one.
I'm available. This time I'm pushing for Baba, and I know you have a proper following, and we're looking at having the youth understand why Baba is a good vote. We're looking at women as well, how we can engage them. And these platforms are not many, and we have purposed to target all these platforms to communicate to our people and let them know exactly why we should be supporting Baba.
Yeah, and congratulations by the way for your newly appointed position. I'm hoping it is the launching part for better things to come.
Amen.
Assuming and hoping that Azimio will take over the presidency next year.
It will.
Last words?
Azimio will take the president.
That is your wish. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. This is Kinyanjui Kibara telling you that I value you. I'd like you to contribute to this conversation. There's a place there you can comment and tell us what you feel. If you like this interview, please press the like button. And if you like it even more, if you loved it, please share. Copy the link. It's down there where it's written share, and spread it to other pages like WhatsApp and Facebook. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next one. This guy is my friend, although we are in different political wing currently. We'll always be friends. Thank you so much, and all the best.